But before I call him up, Mr. Abdullahi, our president, has his hand up. Do you have some things to say?
No, I was clapping. I'm not
Oh,
actually raising hand. Yeah.
okay. All right. All right. That's fine. Okay. So if Mr. Nii is here, we are ready for you. Thank you.
Morning class.
Everyone, a beautiful morning to you all. I appreciate the leaders, but please, can we? I don't have permission to share my slides. I know the organizer of this team must just give me the permission to share my slides, okay, so that will be very easy for me to run through. So please, I want to thank the leadership of the society. I want to also thank you for this opportunity to share out of the little I know. In fact, this topic given to me is such a sensitive topic that I know that the fire that we are trying to ignite is going to be done because of the pressing issues that we are having in our country today. Okay, I'll be giving permission to share my slides, so let me just do that quickly. So if you are seeing my slides, let me know. That will help me to...
Yes, you are seeing it.
Yes,
all right, so thank you so much for that feedback. You know, I like feedbacks because I want to be able to ensure that we are communicating. Communicating is not about talking at you, it's also letting me know that you are actually following in what I'm saying. So we're going to be, the focus of this webinar is the fundamental roles and importance of data insights in sectors of the economy. In my MBA, I know I did a course on data science for decision making. How can you use data to be able to make informed decisions? And I can tell you quickly before I go into my slides that the country is where it is because of the many wrong decisions, or many right and wrong decisions we have made in the past. And so today we're going to be looking at using data insights to explore the nexus between the rising unemployment rate and inflation rate in Nigeria. And I like the mission and the objective of the society. That's why I know that this society is going to go far, because it's relevant in today's world, is in the scheme of things, in what's going on in Nigeria, because we need data analysts, we need business intelligence professionals to play their role in nation building, in capacity building, in knowledge sharing, also promoting ethical practice of how we're going to handle the data that we have today. So that's what we're going to be talking today on, how to look at so I'm not going to mention on my profile again. Thank you, co-host, for doing a good job. So please let me just, I know I was thinking that we're up to like less than 20. We're going to just run down ourselves, introducing ourselves, because I like to connect with people. The fact that this meeting is online does not mean we cannot connect. And so I would love to go on each and every one of us to see how... 1 minute, please.
So now this thing.
I would have loved to continue on what we like to, knowing each and every one of us in behind the screen. I don't know, my system is freezing here. Sorry, 1 minute. Let me just change internet. Is anybody hearing me?
We can hear you, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Loud
we
and
can
clear.
hear you, sir.
Okay, because my slide just froze, but I'm going to continue on that. Okay, so please, I need your attention. Please turn off your phones, put off your devices, so that we can avoid distraction. The things I'm going to be sharing today is going to be a bit technical. It's also going to be very, very filled with information. Oh my goodness. It's like all the prompts just opened up. Okay. All right. Can we see the screen now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, yes, we can.
Okay. So please feel free to jot down your questions. Jot down your questions. I need your attention. No distractions of any kind. It's going to be a long haul, like an hour. I'll try as much as possible to be very interactive so that you can be able to stay alert to learn. Please make sure that you gather. You might not know where some of this information might be useful, maybe in your business, in the way you spend your money, the way you run your business and things like that. So please, that's just one area that I want to just emphasize there. Now we're going to look at using insight to explore the nexus between the rising unemployment and inflation in Nigeria and its implication. Implication is very, very key for me, understanding that economic landscape of Nigeria. I mean, I want to say quickly here that I've studied in the US. In the US, their data is so structured that if you want to start up a business, let's say a barbing salon, you can get the data of a local county and you know if your business is going to thrive. But you see, in Nigeria, I must say that we're not so good with data. And that's why I'm so happy with the society. I mean, the last time census was done in Nigeria was 2006. That's almost like 20 years ago. Ideally, a nation is meant to do census every 10 years. That means that to be able to look at the rate of change of certain parameters in your economic indices and see how much you're going to run your budget based on the statistics you have gotten from your census. So Nigeria is running based on 2006 census, which I can say is questionable. And we've been running yearly budgets since then. And then we can see that the economic reforms are not driving to a low-hanging fruit because we are not driven with the empirical data from the census that should be. And that's why I want to say, if we're going to spend 1 trillion naira to do a census, it's possible that the 1 trillion naira that you have refused to do a census since 2016 might just have been that you have missed opportunity of 10, 20 trillion opportunities that have come your way since 2016 till 2025. And so the economic landscape of Nigeria is very complex because of that data gap in our society. So an overview, economic instability in Nigeria has also influenced the various internal and external factors, including oil price fluctuations. Government policies are changing because we are moved from PDP to APC. There's that continuity issue. Global economic shock is there. Data-driven insight can also help to uncover patterns, correlation, causative factors behind rising unemployment and inflation. So that's just the overview of Nigerian economic trajectory in the recent years. We need to do that census, and then we need to also make sure that the budget is actually driven based on the real data on ground, not by projections, not by speculations or some certain forecasts that are driven by some interests of some sectors. And so the key macroeconomic indicators like GDP, growth rate, inflation rate, unemployment rate, also we need to understand the basis for some of these rates. Like, for example, unemployment rate. Now, how do you define someone that is unemployed? Now, it might shock you to know that a yardstick the nation is using to say someone is unemployed, it's shocking. I don't want to go into that detail. It's shocking. But the thing is that the fact that you can feed yourself 1 meal a day does not mean you are employed. You can be able to feed yourself 1 meal a day and still not be gainfully employed. And so the yardstick for unemployment rate, it needs to be consistent over the years. You can see that the rate of unemployment is actually improving or not improving. And so that's aside, we need to move on. The significance of data analysis is also very important. Data-driven insight can also help to uncover a lot of patterns, correlations, and contributing factors behind the rising unemployment and inflation in the country. Now, how do we unravel the relationship between inflation and unemployment? Okay, now, inflation, by definition, is a general increase in prices and decline in purchasing power. So we all feel that the naira is losing its purchasing power. So there's a form of increase in inflation. So inflation is general increase in the price and decline in purchasing power. While unemployment, on the other hand, is a percentage of the labor force without jobs. Okay, now looking at over 200 million people, how many of them are gainfully employed? Now we're saying that unemployment is the percentage of the labor force without jobs but actively seeking employment. They have the certificate, they have the skill set, they have gone to school, but they are not gainfully employed. And so we need to also understand that there's a correlation between the inflation rate of Nigeria and the unemployment rate of the country. Now, while classical economic theories suggest that lower unemployment can lead to higher inflation, Nigeria is witnessing rising inflation alongside rising unemployment. Now, that's something that is a phenomenon that requires deeper analysis. And I'm so grateful that the Society of Business Data Analysts and Business Analysts also can help to unravel this analysis to make sure that the country is actually in the right direction. So structural weaknesses in the economy is one of the things that we need to look at, and also policy misalignment and also external shock contributing to these anomalies. Of course, we know that our world today is more volatile. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of ambiguity. There's a lot of wars, the Gaza war, the Ukraine war. They are all affecting global economy. All right. And so let's move on because I want to really dive down into the implication. Now, data insight on unemployment and inflation in Nigeria. There are a lot of sources, and I can tell you that we need to be concerned about how those sources are taken. I mean, what the CBN is using as a yardstick to know those who are not employed, it may be different from what the National Bureau of Statistics is using to say that these people are unemployed. It's also different from what World Bank are using to say that certain group of people are unemployed. And so we need to be able to look at all these data sources to know where we are going to be safe in making the appropriate decision. Like from 2015 to 2024, Nigeria's inflation rates are surged from a single digit to double digits. I mean, it has gone so high. And while unemployment has also increased significantly. Of course, we know that there was a pinpoint. Hello?
We can hear you. Okay.
Okay, I'll do that. Sorry, please confirm to me that my screen is moving.
We are still on the first page. Your biography.
Oh my goodness. And I was just going on. Okay, let me share my screen again. 1 minute, please. Entire screen. Bam. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
You're on page 6.
Yes, yes. You can see my screen now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. All right. So I'm going to go on from here. All right. So we're saying that I hope we're getting something already.
Yes.
Talk to me. We have quite some number of persons in the chat. I hope we are getting something already. We have 32 persons.
Yes, they are responding with the thumbs up.
Okay, that's fine. So there's a correlation between inflation and unemployment. And for Nigeria, we are saying that there's a rise in inflation and there's a rise in unemployment, and there's a correlation in the two of these rates that we are talking about. Okay, there are some countries that there's a rise in inflation which is controlled by a drop in unemployment rate, or there's a drop in unemployment rate that increases inflation. So, but Nigeria is a very, very peculiar country. And that's why I can say that if we do a thorough job in the census, I mean, we have been going back and forth in trying to do a census with Buhari regime. Tinubu is coming up with the estimate of almost ₦1 trillion. And for me, I don't mind if you spend 1.5 trillion to do a census and you are able to save 20 trillion in 1 year. I think it's worth it. I mean, it's just not going to help the economy, not getting the data that you need to be able to take the appropriate and the right decision. Probably the flotation of the naira was not supposed to have been done at that particular time. Probably the fuel subsidy removal at that time was not should have done at that time. Probably if we had enough data, we knew that yes, this is the right thing to do. But see, another thing is to know when is the right time to do the right thing. And so once all those things are right, you're going to see the right indices in your nation. Now, so as we have said, that there's a correlation between the inflation rate and unemployment rate. Now, let's look at the data insight on unemployment and inflation in Nigeria. Okay, let's look at that in more detail so that we can go to appreciate the trends in inflation and employment at the same. Of course, we can use predictive analysis, machine learning models to be able to forecast future trends based on past trends. You know, as a consultant, sometimes we like to dig past 10 years to be able to say, okay, if this happened in the past 10 years and will continue this kind of trajectory, of course, we can be able to project through predictive analysis how the future is going to be. All right. So now extracting inflation rate from historical data, you can see that there's quite a lot of confusion. I mean, if there are people who have inflation at a certain figure, MBBS at a certain figure because of the lack of independence in how they collect data, because they want to see how the government is actually doing well. Okay, well, I can tell you that if we get it right with data, there's a possibility we're going to get it right with decision making. And so there are quite all kinds of inflation rates that the country has. But I know that whatever angle you're going to look at, the inflation rate is not encouraging at all. And so you can see that August 2019 was when we had the lowest inflation rates according to National Bureau of Statistics. And so from that moment, the inflation rate has been increasing, and of course, it has increased to over 30% today. So I was able to also get out all the unemployment rates and the inflation rate. We're able to plot the graph side by side from 2015 to 2023. Okay, and you can see that the for 2015, the unemployment rate has been increasing. It peaked at during the COVID-19. Of course, it's I'm going to explain the VOCA UK concept again, where during the COVID-19, the unemployment rate increased to 33.2%. You can see how global pandemic can affect unemployment rate. And of course, it has a way of also affecting the inflation rate. But then 2021, of course, it dropped to 25%, 24%, and 2023, 37%. And I can tell you that the rate right now is around that 38% currently. So you can see that from the graph, the unemployment versus inflation rate is increasing. It's increasing, all right? So it's increasing, and we need to be very, very careful here, the kind of decisions we're making, all right? The impact of the policy like fuel subsidy removal, all right? Devaluation, as I mentioned, trade restrictions on inflation and employment trend. Using predictive modeling, as I said, can also let us know that if we don't do something right now, the unemployment trend that is going upwards, the inflation rate that is going upwards will be will continue to go up. Now, Nigeria's inflation is a cost push rather than a demand pull, meaning that rising cost of production due to exchange rate volatility, fuel price hikes, they drive prices up. And so unemployment is also worsened by policy instability, lack of infrastructure, and inadequate private sector growth in the economy. And so we need to know that if we do something about it, I know that our economy is going to grow on very well. Now, what is driving unemployment and inflation upwards? We have all seen that for Nigerian case, inflation rate is driving upwards, unemployment rate is driving upwards. So what are the causes of the rising unemployment and inflation in Nigeria? We know that currency depreciation and high import dependence. You know, before the Dangote refinery came up, I wish you could have like 10 of Dangote refineries in the country. And then that's when we now begin to see the impacts in reducing unemployment. You can imagine the amount of employment that Dangote refinery has created. And then we have 10 of it in the country. I mean, it's going to just drop down the unemployment rate in the country. And of course, you can see because of the Dangote refineries, prices are now dropping. I mean, there's a lot of competition based on competition with the high cost of importing. I mean, high dependence on importing this fuel. Okay, so currency depreciation and high import dependence, monetary policies and interest rates are one of the macroeconomic factors that drives unemployment and inflation in Nigeria. Now, the other thing has to do with structural and societal factors. Now, we have skills mismatch. I mean, I've seen some persons who have first degree in engineering, but they are cashiers in the bank. I mean, we have just misplaced. We are not utilizing our the human resource capabilities in our country. The labor market inefficiencies is very complex. I mean, where people are just taking the jobs that they need to take, not because their career is powering it, but because they just need to make some end meet. Population growth is also outpacing job creation. I mean, I wish they can do the census again. Whether Nigeria is 200 million or 250 million, we don't know. But I know that there is an increase in population growth, and it's not matching up with the creation of jobs in the country. There's also a declining industrial and manufacturing sector. I mean, for the past 10 months, you could see a lot of companies folding up and leaving the country because they cannot cope with the societal factors and the systemic issues that we have in the country. External factors, I mean, where you have volatility in the global space, uncertainty, complexity. I mean, look at the way Trump is tariffing everything, making everyone to think, go back to the drawing board. How can we cope with the tariffs? Ambiguity is there with the Ukraine war, and the Gaza war is also there. Now, global economic downturns that was also affected by the COVID-19 with the oil price shocks, supply chain disruptions, and things like that. So Nigeria's inflation is really a cost push rather than a demand pull. So everything is attributed to the rising cost of production, and due to exchange rate volatility, fuel hikes, and which drives prices upwards. Okay, we need to move on very fast so I can take some questions. Now, this graph is just to let you know that the cost push and the demand pull inflation in Nigeria, you can see the red one is more of the Nigerian case, where it's so high that and how do you know that? Because the purchasing power of the naira is really not. I mean, those days you are a millionaire, you are actually a millionaire. Now, if you get a few millions in your account, it's really nothing to write home about. So the Nigerian case is more of a cost push. The cost of prices is really on a rising. So cost push inflation occurs when overall price level in an economy rises due to the increased cost of production. Now, in Nigeria, this is a dominant form of inflation because of the exchange rate volatility, now the fuel price hikes, and the supply chain disruption. Okay, we cannot say that Nigeria is a demand pool. If we get to a point where we are demand pool inflation, I mean, then we can be able to say, okay, we're going to leverage on the production capacity of the nation to be able to make sure that we drive down inflation. So Nigeria inflation is likely driven by rising cost of production, which is cost push, rather than excessive consumer demands, which is demand pool. And so when we address this issue, it will require stabilizing the exchange rates, reducing the fuel dependency. I mean, thank God for the CNG. We can also go to wind, we can go into solar, and also we can go to a lot of innovative ways to be able to make sure that energy is really created. And then improving infrastructure to lower production costs. All right, what are the implications of the inflation employment nexus? Businesses must leverage data insight to mitigate this risk, such as adjusting prices, strategies, and labor cost structures. So currency depreciation and high import dependency, we have mentioned that is very, very crucial that we, I mean, as a nation, policymakers must balance between inflation, targeting measures that will help in job creation initiatives. Are we following so far? I just need a voice that we are following so that I can move on to the second half.
Yeah, we are 100% following, sir.
And we are getting something right?
Very well.
All right. So businesses must, I mean, why will a business why would a business stay up to 20 years, 50 years? If you are able to get real-time data, you can also be able to innovate yourself when you're going out of business. But you see, when you don't have real-time data, you don't even know what is working and what is not working, so that you're able to make the necessary adjustments that you need to make as a business owner or as a policy maker. Now, what are the economic and political ramifications you can do? Because there's some economic consequences for all these things I am mentioning. Now, reduced customer purchasing power is one economic consequences of a rising unemployment rate and rising inflation. Okay, people have so much money, but what that money can buy is not something that we can write home about. Now, high cost of living is also there. I mean, like in Abuja, where I stay, the cost of rent now has gone so high because what goes high in one area goes round by going high. Okay, if the tomato seller increases his tomato by 200%, of course the hospital is going to increase their fees. So there's high cost of living, inability to buy drugs and access proper treatment. Those days, health insurances can help out, but because of high cost of treatment, you can see that the premium that usually gives a cover for certain things usually do not cover again because of the high cost of living. Now, increased poverty levels and widening inequalities is also there. Depression, suicide. I mean, we all know that suicide is on the rise, death is on the rise. What shouldn't have killed someone in Nigeria is now even killing Nigeria. That's why sometimes people say There are more things that are killing people more than COVID. So people threw their caution to the air, because in the true sense, there are quite a lot of things that kills people in Nigeria other than malaria and even COVID. So business closure and reduced investment is also one of the economic consequences. What are the social implications? Rising crime, costs, kidnapping, insecurity, youth restiveness is there, because when people are not engaged in their jobs, they will always want to find ways to survive. So there's rising crime rates. There's an increase in kidnapping. I mean, I read on the social media how a mother carried his 21-year-old son to a cyber cafe, and he instructed the owner of the cyber cafe to teach the child how to do Yahoo Yahoo. I mean, I would have thought that the mother is taking the child to a business center to learn computing skills, to learn coding skills, to learn how to do some digital capabilities. But then the thing is, they want it quick. They want it snappy. They don't want to spend time to develop the necessary skills. And so there's rising crime rates, also insecurity, kidnapping, and youth restiveness. There's also a lot of brain drain. When there's unemployment in the country, people will go to Canada, UAE, Saudi Arabia. I know a lot of people who have left because of the fact that they cannot get themselves, well-qualified people, but they cannot get the jobs here, the jobs that they want. So we have skilled professionals migrating from Nigeria abroad. We don't have data for these things. It's alarming at the number of people who are leaving the country, outside this country, to get employment in the UK, in the US, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and the likes. And so there's a dropout also in our pool. You employ someone today, you can see that the person is not matching up. Why? Because the best of the best, who have the means also, so to say, have been able to Japa. Japa also has entered the dictionary, leaving the country. We have people who have dropped out of school. Those days, you can see a lot of scholarships to get people through schools, but now people are dropping out more in year 2, year 3 in the university, or even year 1, because they cannot cope with the rising cost of school fees. Go to an average private university today, it's actually a fortune to be able to send yourself to those kind of schools. All right. There's also the political impact, where there's public distrust in governance. Most people like to keep their cash in their houses. In Abuja, I know a lot of politicians who they keep large sums of money because there's that distrust in the banking system. There's that public distrust in governance. We don't know. Tomorrow they can say, okay, for every 1,000 naira you withdraw from the POS machine, we're going to pay 1,000 naira. No, there's that distrust in the way government is run. There's also a potential for civil unrest. Look at Osun State having some unrest, Port Harcourt, River State unrest, in the Northeast unrest. So there's a potential. We don't know where this civil unrest and protests can erupt in no time. So businesses must leverage data intelligence. And when I mean data intelligence now, you don't have to wait for 10 years like the way census used to be. I used to say, even for churches and organizations, you do your data gathering that will run your business for like 10 years. But I can tell you, if you do that, you're going to be irrelevant in 2-3 years. You need to make sure that every year you are gathering your data to be able to know where to adjust, how to make yourself relevant in your business and in your organization. Policymakers must also balance between balance the inflation targeting measures with job creation. All right, so let's move on, and then we'll. So it's not just getting the analytics, but we must go beyond descriptive analytics. Must go beyond diagnostic analysis. Must go beyond predictive analysis. Must also get to point where we get to go to prescriptive analysis. And so I would not want to just bore you with all the problems without also providing the solution. Yes, I know there's reduced consuming. There's a lot of problems I've mentioned so far, but we need to also look at the solutions that will help us as a nation to moving forward. Okay, so how data analysis can inform better policy and business strategy? How can we leverage data to make sure that this data helps in our policy and business decisions? Policy and business decisions. Okay, one, for policy, we need to make sure that data-driven policy making, it must be empirically driven. I mean, not just projections or forecasts, must be empirically driven. That a state is growing, has grown from this to this, and so we are going to increase the budget based on this. So you can imagine all the allocation is based on projection. I mean, and sometimes I can say that by the time we go empirical, we see that most of those projections are actually false. So data-driven policy making must be on evidence-based governance and data and correct data on ground. Now, predictive models for inflation and employment trends must be one of the things that policymakers need to put on the table. All right. Impact analysis on monetary and fiscal policies is very, very crucial. And now for businesses and investors, for running businesses, market segmentation and customer behavior analysis, okay, must be done. Then risk assessment must be done. And financial forecasting also must be. There's strategic workforce planning, whereby we also need to look at where our investment need to be. Okay, government must adopt an open data policy. I mean, people must be able to take some of this policy and make their decisions, okay, to ensure accessibility for economic data sets. And so, what are the best practices, global and local lessons on managing inflation and unemployment? Now, look at China. China is one of the most populous countries in the world. And number one, China's industry policy and job creation, we should learn from that, okay? Germany also, vocational training model is also something we can learn from. And now these are lessons are because we're a large population, and we can also learn from large first world countries to be able to see how we can leverage on the future wealth in our human capital on driving the economy. The needs for targeted investment in agriculture. Agriculture requires a lot of labor. We can also target investment in agriculture, all right? Or in also technology, ICT, and manufacturing production. Improved ease of doing business through regulatory reforms. I mean, it's that to be easy for somebody coming to the country, and they can be able to say that in the next 20 years, some of the policies, some of the regulatory reforms we are having are not going to change. Okay, most business owners can be frustrated when regulatory reforms are changed at will just because the government want to raise income for themselves. Ensure a trusted census data is also collected. I mean, those countries that are most populous, that China and Germany, and even the US, they are driven by their census and data collection, and not that when we want to do the census, we are biased about what data to collect. But let's collect all the relevant information, because all data are connected, all variables are connected. And if you know that all variables are connected, we need to get all the information that we need, so that when we are able to tweak a variable, we know what dependent variables will be affected in the long run. Now, countries that have successfully managed inflation and unemployment have diversified economies. I mean, we should not get, we'll be saying it, we should not be driven by oil alone, oil and gas alone. We must diversify our economy and have a strong industrial base. I mean, you can imagine if we have a lot of production going on, like Dangote, like 10 of them in the country. I mean, we're going to just be the power hub of Africa, exporting petrol into other nations as well. Nigeria must also implement data-driven economic reforms to create sustainable economic environment. Now, what's the way forward? What's the way forward? Now, key takeaways are the inflation unemployment paradox in Nigeria requires a holistic economic reforms, not just taking one sector and doing something about it, but looking at the whole economic as a whole and then being able to address it. Data analysis is essential for monitoring economic trends and making informed decisions. Now, we also, what are the recommendations here? Strengthen job creation policies. I mean, investment in SMEs, tech hubs, industrial expansion, adopt monetary policies that control inflation without stifling growth, enhancing data accessibility and economic intelligence efforts. Okay, one of the things that helps with the cost push inflation is exchange rate stability. I mean, if exchange rate is stable, we can strengthen. If we can strengthen the foreign exchange reserves, that will stabilize the naira. And of course, that can happen when we encourage local production of essential products produced instead of always importing what the populace needs and wants. Okay, we should reduce import dependence, improve monetary policies to control speculative currency fluctuations. Now, the second one is reducing fuel price shocks. We don't know how the fuel price is going to be today. Price can just go above 1,000 naira. Tomorrow is 800 naira. Domestic refineries must be invested in. I mean, reducing the reliance on importation. I know there's this importation of fuel competition with Dangote refineries, and that's why we are having all these price fluctuation. We need to also expand alternative energy sources like solar, wind, gas to reduce the fuel dependency. Now, improve fuel subsidy management. Now, the fact that we've removed subsidy does not mean that subsidy is not good, it's not right for us to implement subsidy. I mean, there's no country in the world that does not have one form of subsidy. The reason why subsidy didn't work in Nigeria because of corruption, a lot of round tripping. You get a produce, you go to the neighboring country to deliver, and then you get the subsidy in Nigeria. I mean, if we look at it based on the way the reforms have taken place, there's a lot of there's less smuggling of petrol to neighboring countries right now because there's more of control. So we need to improve fuel subsidy management. Okay, subsidies can also work because we know that everything is really dependent on fuel to be able to balance economic stability and affordability. Now, enhance infrastructure, poor roads, unreliable electricity, inefficient ports, increases logistic problems and production costs. So we need to fix our power. We need to upgrade our transportation network as a country. I know there's a lot going on as a country, but it's just a scratch in the surface. We need to do more and also reduce the bureaucratic bottlenecks at the port in terms of clearing goods so that we can speed up importation and exportation so that Nigeria also can begin to earn in dollars to also stabilize the naira. Supporting local production, managing inflation through monetary and fiscal policy, strengthening security and agricultural productivity. Insecurity in the north has been able to affect the agricultural productivity of the lands that we have. And so the insecurity, the banditry, the kidnapping, the farmer headers conflict is also there. It affects food production, affects unemployment. People can't go to their farms to farm. And so raising food prices and also thereby affecting inflation. Now we need to strengthen security. We need to also provide mechanized farming to be able to make sure that it boosts output and lowers costs, improve irrigation, storage facility to also reduce post-harvest losses. Now, the thing is, there's a lot that can be done from the government. There's a lot that can be done from business owners. There's a lot that can be done from owners and the workforce or individuals as a country. But the thing is, we need to enhance data accessibility and economic intelligence efforts to be able to manage the situation that the country is, so that by working together, Nigeria can reduce its cost push inflation and unemployment rate that is rising to build a more stable economic environment. So So Nigeria needs to also a data-centric governance approach, where decisions are based on evidence rather than short-term political consideration. You know, because of a four-year tenure of a president is not taking a decision based on a long term, but based on its 4-year time kind of political consideration. So Nigeria needs to be data-centric driven. I know some cities in the world, those cities have been planned as far back as 17 centuries, and they are following that plan. I mean, there's nowhere in the world that you see things happening. They have data-centric governance approach to all the things that we. So it's also there's need for collaboration between government, private sector, data experts, which is very crucial in shaping a sustainable economy as a country. Thank you so much. I want to draw the curtain now so that I can take some questions, and then we'll allow for more time for the second speaker to take it from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nie. This was a very impactful session and power-packed. We have learned a lot. I'm sure we'll have questions. So I would just suggest, if you have a question, just indicate with a hand raise, and then we'll call your name and you unmute yourself. I'll be watching out for those whose hands are raised, and I will call you as I see your hands. Mr. Ebenezer, you can go ahead.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Ebenezer.
All right, thanks so much for that session. It was powerful. I'm so happy I'm part of this. I'm so glad. I don't just have questions. I have questions, but I will just ask one and give room for others. Probably if there is time after all that I've asked that question, I will step in to ask my other question. So let me just ask the first one that is really burning my heart. So you mentioned, I want to quote from your presentation. Nigeria inflation rate is driven by production costs. I jot that down. So I want to ask a question on this, and I can't even argue this fast because I engage in little business here and there, and I know how production costs can drive the price of goods up. So I want to ask, as a business owner or as a young person that is an entrepreneur or trying to break into business, and as a young person that believe in the Nigerian dream, I mean, for those of us that don't want to take the option of probably running outside the country for greener pasture. So how do we balance production costs, maintaining reasonable cost of goods to be competitive in the market and remaining in business since help is not coming from the government?
Okay, thank you. That's a very intelligent question that you have asked, right? Now, one of the things I will tell you that since you have agreed with me that the cost of running business in Nigeria can be very high. Now, what you need to do is to be able to innovate. Now, if you are using generator, I'll give you. Let's be very practical. I'm running my bank based on diesel, right? Are you with me, Mr. Ebenezer?
Yes, I'm with you, sir. I'm with you.
Yeah, so I'm a bank owner. I'm running my bank with diesel. Power holding is not helping business. Probably I'm spending close to like 16 million every month on diesel. Okay. Now,
okay,
there's nothing that should get you to a point whereby that this is how you are doing business and this is how you're going to do it forever. You must always find cheaper ways of doing things, faster ways of doing things, better ways of doing things, and easier way of doing things. So I've seen, even in Abuja here, some street lights are NEPA driven. Now you can see that most street lights in Abuja now are solar driven because the FCT is also paying NEPA bills. So because they see that the rising cost of NEPA is, can we use that money to get solar and reduce the cost of running our operational costs? So first of all, you sit down. This is ideal. I mean, this is what is costing me to run my business like this. All right. What are other options? Okay. Other options. And that's where innovation comes in. That's where data insight comes in. Now, note that the taste of your consumers are going to change. Now, if you are able to be in tab with how your consumers are changing their preferences, you are staying in business. Okay. So
Okay.
don't always say that your cost of production, there's nothing you can do about it. So I can see for that bank now that has gone solar, okay, they have a flat rooftop over their head. They're able to get solar for, like, say, 5 million. And for the past 6 months, they were able to reduce the diesel consumption, for example, by 85%. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
yes, in as much as the government is there, not providing the enabling environment because of rising cost of production and the enabling environment, we can also create alternative options by being innovative. All right, to make sure that we reduce. Now the thing is, if you are look at China, China is leveraging on their human capital. All right, we can leverage on some key areas to make sure that we reduce our prices so that we can stay competitive and then we can stay in business. Have I answered the question?
Yes, very well, very well.
Oh, all right, thank you. Any
All
other
right, sir.
question?
I'm not seeing any other hands raised, but I also want to ask a question. You talked about data and how Nigeria is not really a data-driven economy. And I want to ask, now we have a lot of agencies in Nigeria, government agencies, and most of them work with data. I'll give an example of mine, right? We work with a lot of data, but we have a challenge where some of this data is not accurate. And you're talking of profiling solutions with your data analytics skills. How do you profile proper and accurate solutions with data that is not accurate? What do I mean? I'll give an example. You go to some, let me say, states or local governments where it is expected of you to get some data, maybe on number of school enrollments in that particular state. Now, based on who is coming to get that data, you can get different information. If it is for empowerment purpose, right, you might get over underreported data because, okay, you want to empower us, so let's look bad, let's look pitiable so that you will give us a lot of money. But if you are going maybe for taxing purposes, you get over bloated data. Let's over bloat our data so that I don't know if you get what I'm saying, Sha, but
I
the point I'm making
understand.
is, yes, when the data you're not getting is accurate, how do you now make informed decisions based on that data? That's number one. Then secondly, with all of these organizations, you see some people don't even know what they are supposed to, the kind of data they're supposed to be keeping. Let me give an example now. I am with this, I don't know, I'm sure all of us heard about the accident at Cairo 2-3 days ago. And it got me thinking. And I was like, over the years, we have heard of accidents happening on that road constantly at particular times of the year. And I just got thinking, I said, okay, has anybody ever sat down to say, okay, let's gather this data over maybe the past 10 years and see what has been responsible? Has it always been tankers? Is it the road? Is it careless driving? Because in doing that, you can now suggest to the government, okay, it has always been tankers causing accidents on this road. So what can we do about these tankers on this road to prevent further occurrences of such accidents? So I went online trying to search if there is any way I can get data on those accidents for the past 10 years. And trust me, there is no such information. I reached out to a friend in road safety to ask, and he said he doesn't know if they have a record of such accidents. So my question is, how do we get the government now to understand that it is very important to keep records of such things so that from there you can now use it to generate insights? So those are my questions.
Yeah, I like your question. Very intelligent. All right. And that's why if you look at my presentation so far, I've told you the problem, right? I can tell you straight up that Nigerian census was last done 2006. Are you aware about that?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
And
2006.
even 2006, there's some questionable issue about that census. I don't want to go into that detail because
Yes.
one thing is sure. How in fact, all the NGOs that are gathering information, because there's no NGO in the country that has not gathered its own primary source data. But I can tell you that some of those primary source data are biased based on what they want to find. And that's why I'm so keen about the census data, because you can always pull the data from the census and do your and crisscross it with your secondary data or tertiary data and be able to watch the trend. But the thing is, the country has refused to put data at the heart of every decision. You imagine a National Assembly sitting. I mean, are they putting data on the table to make policies? Are they putting data on the table to remove fuel subsidy? You know, that's why I said some of these things is when we have data, we will now know that, okay, the right decision that we know is the right decision is now the right time for us to implement that right policy. So, first of all, let's get the census. Of course, from that census, you can always pull it from MBS website, this data set, able to run your, because once you're able to run your analysis, they can make better informed decisions. If the decisions Nigeria has been making since 2006 till now, I can tell you is guesswork. And that's why our problems as a nation, we're having a lot of issues. So your question is deeper than it is. We are not structured with data in the country. If you go, that's why if you look at unemployment rates, if you just Google what's the unemployment rate in Nigeria, you'll see a conflicting figures. Why? Because what A says that is the definition of someone that is unemployed is different from what Nigerian Bureau of Statistics used as say this is unemployment. All right. So we need to know the assumptions at which those data are collected, and so that it will help us in our decision making. It's better you are aware that this data I'm using to make this information or this budget or this policy formulation is based on projection. I might be wrong. You see, the problem with Nigeria is they make decisions thinking that the information the data they are basing those decisions on is empirical, and it's not. I mean, look at the allocation, federal allocation. They are just doing it based on projection on 2006. It's possible that the growth rate of one state has gone beyond the projection that they had in 2006. And so we need to go back to being empirical by recording everything, like you said, recording everything so that we're able to make some informed decision as a country. I know that with this society, this is a movement you're creating. With this society, we can be able to hold Nigeria Bureau of Statistics accountable to be straight up with their data collection, and then also ensure that decisions are actually wrong decisions are actually addressed based on empirical data and information that is properly analyzed. I hope I helped you out so far.
Yes, you have. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's like I see some two hands.
Yes,
So
Mr. Abdullahi, you can unmute yourself.
So that we can allow for the second speaker to come up.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to add a little on what the first speaker has said. I actually wanted to add a little regarding the question Loretta has raised on the issue of generating the right data in Nigeria. Ethical considerations are not there at all.
Yes.
Administrators in charge of generating the data, you might see, is part of what the first speaker has mentioned, that you may see maybe an LGAMIE in charge of generating the data. They may likely bring someone that is not a data specialist. He being is a professional in that aspect, he might know the repercussion of generating or falsification of data and what most likely that will cause in terms of intervention, being it at the LGA level, state, or at the national level. We have a lot of that, especially when I was MI with the United States Agency for International Development on a project called Reproductive Maternal Health in Nsdabie State. I could remember vividly that we battled a lot of such kind of issues. They actually don't want to report the actual figures so that the global community may likely not be aware of what is happening in that society, especially as it relates to nutritional issues. They don't want to say, okay, our state, they have a high number of maternal mortality issue, they have a high number of malnutrition, but that has the potential of attracting a very huge amount of investment from global community. So that is part of the problem. Most of those people in charge of generating those data are not data professionals. As such, they don't know the ethical consideration of what they are doing, the national to the national scale. Thank you very much. I just
Thank
want
you, sir.
that
Thank you, sir. That's a fantastic contribution they have made, sir. Data integrity is very, very crucial in the quality of decision making any leader can make. Thank you so much for that contribution. I still have one more hand. Should I take that?
Yes, we can take the one more person. Mr. Ebenezer.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Ebenezer, I'm here again. And for what Ablai have just said, I want to also make a little contribution on that, but he has said everything. So because you mentioned that probably if we for the sake of getting data, and our last census was in 2006, and probably we need to do a new one. And we all know the 4 years election we are doing in Nigeria, we all know what is happening, how people are falsifying data and everything. And
Yeah.
I'm very sure everybody understands that if you do a census in Nigeria today now, the issue that happened during our election are still going to come in. States are going to falsify data to project higher numbers than others. So it's a problem. So I think it's a mindset problem, which we need to fight from the grassroots. So that's just my little contribution on that. So the question I want to ask, sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions because when I meet people like this that probably I look up to in their feed, and people I see that probably are more knowledgeable than me, I want to ask questions. So in your presentation earlier, you mentioned the issue of a 21-year-old that the mother took to probably a cyber cafe to go and learn cyber crime. And everybody, it happens all around us. Last year, a family friend, 13 years old, the younger brother, ran away from Lagos to Port Harcourt to go and join a Yahoo syndicate. They were looking for him for 2 months before they were able to know that a 13 years old ran away from Lagos to Port Harcourt to go and join Yahoo. So, and I can remember that growing up as teenagers, during our time, our only dream is to go to school, be the best in your class, and probably get a white collar job, go to university and bag a first class and get a white collar job. Growing up, me and my friends and everybody around us, this used to be our dream. But now we have a shift in the thinking of teenagers, because I love to speak to the young ones a lot. I love to engage them. And majority of them, when you engage them, they are thinking right now, it's not about school, it's not about education, it's not about knowledge, it's fast money, fast skin. I'm 30 years old, 15 years old, you're already talking about how you can get the latest Ferrari, the latest this, the latest that. So what do we think, since we don't have data to back it up, we don't have data to back this up, where this problem is coming from? So what changes between 2000, the last 25 years, between 2000 and now? What do we think is the problem? So is it the social media? Is it poverty rate? Is it the dwindling of the middle class? Or is it just the decay in the level of morality in our society? That's my question, sir.
You have asked another intelligent question, and I think I'm so thrilled with the intelligent questions you are getting. One of the things I'll tell you, from 2006 census, because of the oil boom era, there was a high growth rate. People were just giving birth, and in the 80s, early 80s, 85. That's why if you look at the demographics of that census at that time, you have a lot of youth. That's 70% of the population of that census is below 40 years as currently. So that information alone should make the government to go back to the drawing board. If you have that pool of young people, it should reflect that the young ones should be represented in leadership. It should reflect in the capacity of schools. Like if all the schools are to employ to their capacity, it cannot take the number of people that are writing JAMB or the number of persons that want to go into universities. So what it means is that we can leverage on online education. You can leverage, what's there in all the schools existing should run an online program. So if, let's say, the maximum they can take in a physical class, University of Lagos is for law school, law students is, let's say, 400. That does not stop them from saying, okay, we have an online version. We have, because even in law school, there's a capacity for every school to go to law school. So that problem is there, but we have not been able to open our eyes that young, energetic potential of the nation needs to be engaged. And that's why it blew up on them with NSAS, okay? Because the people who were behind NSAS were this demographic, which if they had been able to do the census over the years, we'll be able to pinpoint that, okay, we need to put more money on education to build more universities, build more secondary schools. I mean, you can imagine the imaginary schools that Jonathan built. You can imagine if we do 200 of that in the north. There's a lot of deficiency in this group of people when it comes to education. And so when we have that gap there, it's also going to be shown in the unemployment rates that we're talking about. So people are not, because you cannot employ someone that cannot read and write. You cannot employ someone that doesn't even know the color of 20 naira or the color of 1,000 naira. You cannot employ someone that does not know how to take some instructions, even if you want to supervise the person over a manual job. You need people to be able to say, to be able to take instructions and go to it and get it done. So that group of people is there. And I can tell you that, first of all, they need to increase the budget for education. They need to, if there's any private individual that want to set up a private university, licenses should be given as soon as possible. I mean, it's annoying when somebody wants to build a private university and turning it down. It doesn't make sense. Or you are now increasing the price for getting a private university, whereas you are helping your populace to go to school by getting that license approved. So you can imagine the licensing for private university, you now increase it so bad because you want to reduce the number of investors into private, and you're going to kill the young, energetic youths because these are the same people that are going to insecurity, kidnapping, crime, and all those things, and all those digital crime, cyber bullying, and all those things. So that's a problem that I know that with the census, it can be addressed. Okay. Ebenezer, I know you have so much, so passionate. You are so passionate about Nigeria, but let us know what when you define the problem with a proper census, then we can be able to say, okay, we can now begin to solve the problem. But when you don't do a proper diagnosis analysis, then we cannot get to a healthy prescriptive analysis on provide the needed solution to the problem. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope I've been able to contribute the little I can, and thank you for to Mr. Nsikak and the leadership of the society. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. I've learned from you guys, and I know that it's just going to move from this level to a higher level subsequently. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
once
much.
again, Mr. Lee. We appreciate you. Would hear from Mr. Nsika and let him give his appreciation. Mr. Nsika, you can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
You can go ahead there for me.
Yes, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Mr. Nii, thank you so very much for this in-depth analysis. We are so honored, to have you. We are so grateful. Thank you. You did fantastically well. You didn't just, state the problems and all that. You provide solutions. You talked about targeted investment in agriculture, in technology and manufacturing, just like the model by China and Germany. That's very insightful. Thank you. We are very, very grateful. But I want to leave, as you go, I want to leave you with this rhetorical question. Nigeria government, do they have the will to get this thing done? Talking about census in 2006, are they ready to do it? Talking about curbing oil theft, and I know there's a lot going on in NNPC and all that, but then would they not sabotage it? That leaves us a rhetorical question. So once again, thank you very much. We are glad to have you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Isaac. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Okay, Loretta. So you go ahead and introduce the second speaker and try to enable her mic and all that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for your patience so far. We're going to go to the second presenter. If second presenter can indicate, I can't see her name here, so that I can enable her, that would be good. But before we do that, let me read her profile for us.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it. I will do that now. Our second presenter is Blessing Iyari. She'll be talking to us on the roles and importance of data insights and business intelligence in the social media space. This is her picture, her beautiful picture. So Blessing Iyari is a data analyst with a strong background in education, program management, and analytics, leveraging data-driven insights to improve decision-making and optimize program outcomes. With over 10 years of experience, she has successfully led initiatives impacting over 10,000 girls and young women, particularly in STEM education and workforce development. As a Google Women Techmaker Ambassador, Blessing is dedicated to empowering women in technology by fostering inclusive communities, advocating for digital skills development, and mentoring aspiring professionals. She's passionate about using data, AI, and technology to enhance learning experiences and bridge educational gaps, especially for undeserved communities. Her expertise spans data analysis, project management, educational technology, and program evaluation, with proficiency in tools like Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python. She has spoken at various platforms on LinkedIn optimization, career growth, and leveraging technology for impact, helping professionals build strong online presence and advance in their careers. She hails from Edo State and holds a BSc in Industrial Chemistry, a postgraduate diploma in education, and is currently pursuing a master's in educational technology. So we have another power-packed speaker here today. So, Blessing, you are welcome. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Good morning, everyone. It's still morning. Good morning, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I am super excited to be here. Thank you for the invite. Like she said, I am a LinkedIn coach. So we're going to do something more like an icebreaker. I would like each and every one of you, I don't know if that has been done, but we're going to be talking about social media. And this is an era that we need to connect, right? There is money in people. So you don't know who the next person here is. Might be your next business partner. I might be your next client or stakeholder, whatever it is. So I want you to just quickly get your LinkedIn URL and drop it in the comment section so that we can all connect with each other. So quickly do that. I would love to see and connect with each and every one of you. So let's quickly do that while I share my screen. and confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so let me put it on full screen. Beautiful. So once again, I am super excited to be here. Today, we're going to be talking about the roles and importance of data insights and business intelligence in the social media space. And once again, I am blessing Yari. Quickly, I have a video that I want us to watch. So I will quickly play it. And then as data analysts, I'm sure most of us here were either data analysts or people who are interested in data, and that's why you're here. So we're going to be deciding, what do you think? Do you think this is an insightful decision? So yes, we like to watch. Please confirm you can still see my screen.
No, we can't. We can't see.
Okay, just a moment. Let me share.
Yeah, it's back.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm trying to play it online. I don't know, having network issues. Probably I'll share the link on the comment section so that we can watch. It's on LinkedIn. I saw a beautiful post on LinkedIn I love to share. Let me copy this and try again. Okay, this time it's work. So yes. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to load up, technology, right? Hope we're dropping our LinkedIn URL in the comment section. I would love to see each and every one of us comment, and rather dropping mine. So please connect with one another. Okay, beautiful. Please confirm. Okay, let's take it again. So in case you didn't get it the first time. Okay, beautiful. So please just use thumbs up if you got you were able to follow through with the video. Just let me see your thumbs up. Just your favorite emoji, you can just use that. Okay, were we able to follow through? Okay, someone can unmute their mic and let me know. I just want to know. I can see Loretta.
Yes, we follow through.
Okay, thank you so much. So please, I'll need someone to unmute their mic and just tell me, if you're a manager, what will be your response? Is this an insightful decision? What will you do to someone who does that to your business? Yes, anyone.
Okay, as a manager, I want to say that is not an insightful decision. It's not wise because a campaign was done without it's not data backed. It's not backed by data. So I want to investigate. Probably this person does not know what to do, or this person is not big on data, so that we can look for how to invest in training the staff, the person involved, so that when he want to take decision next time, the person will take the decision that is data driven. And if the person is data driven and just negligence them, we might actually look at probably giving the person a query so as not to mess up our business.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's so beautiful. So, like you pointed out, right? That decision was not insightful because it was not data driven. That's why I tell data analysts that you owe the power to any business. So be it social media, be it education, we're talking about education and all previously, be it whatever kind of business, there is a need to have data-driven decisions, make data-driven decisions. It makes your decision better, right? And you can see it here. This person was supposed to run a social media campaign and did not do any data-driven decision, did not take any data-driven decision, did not check what do the social media, what do my audience like, how do I target this specific type of audience, what do I need to do, what are my competitors doing? So these are things that you need to check as a social media person. And now, just to clarify this, when we're saying social media person, it must not mean that you are, like, let's say, a social media manager before you can use data to actually drive decision. Kudos to you if you're a social media manager here. This would mean a lot. But then you can be the owner of a business, right? You can even just be an individual that have your own personal account. Let's say you have an account on LinkedIn, you have an account on Instagram. How do you grow your followers, right? So you need to make data-driven decision. It is very important. So we'll move to the next slide. Which is understanding social media data insights. Now, when we say social media data insights, what do we mean? It involves collecting, analyzing, and interpreting data to make informed business decisions. And you can see from the video we just watched, right? If you don't do that, you will just be making very bad decisions and then you'll be losing money. And if I ask each and every one of you here, who would like to lose money when they have a business? No one. We're out to make more money, and data is the gold that will help you make more money. Data is the gold that will help you make more money. And so you need to tap into this, right? So like I pointed here, social media data insights involve collecting. So you have to do the collecting, right? And then how do you collect data? That's when we're looking at our tools for collecting data, we're going to be seeing that. So you have to collect. Then after collecting, what happens? You analyze. Then after analyzing, you get to interpret, and then you get to make informed decision. And one thing about social media now is there's a lot of listening tools. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day that I Googled on my phone wedding gowns, like on my browser, like I was just Googling different kind of wedding gowns and the rest. Guess what? When I went on Instagram, the algorithm kept popping out like ads I was seeing, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what is this? And she said, blessing, that's not it. That even herself, that she was talking to somebody about how she wanted to eat shawarma, that she didn't even browse it. And then when she went online, she started seeing ads on shawarma near you and the rest. So this is what data can do. This is what data can actually do. And that's why we need to leverage into it so that we can actually make more money and own ourselves as thought leaders using data. Now, type of data and now, when I say type of data, we're streamlining this to social media data, right? For social media, there are a lot of metrics or gatherings that you can actually do for social media. For instance, we have the engagement metrics, right? So when we say engagement metrics, how many likes do I have? How many shares? How many comments? Now, this is engagement. So it depends on. Now, as a data analyst, it depends on what you're trying to analyze. That would determine the kind of data you're going to get, right? So if I'm trying to do, let's say, analyze the engagement metrics, certainly I'm going to be gathering data around likes, shares, and comments. I wouldn't bother so much about age, location, and interest because I am looking at engagement, right? So if you're looking at audience demography, let's say I want to get this particular demography. I want, let's say, people in Nigeria, right? I'm going to tailor my content. I'm going to tailor my research to that particular location and interest. Let's say I'm looking for people who are interested in STEM. I'm going to tailor that interest to people who are actually interested in STEM and not people who are interested in agri or something else. So that is how it works. Also, we have sentimental analysis. Maybe you want to know, let's say you want to do like social listening. When I say social listening, like you're trying to get what are people actually saying about my brand? What are people actually saying about me? So if you have like a business, you want to know, okay, are people saying positive things about me? Are people saying negative things about me? What are people feedback? Are they neutral? This is what you would use to actually get that. Also, you can also check your content performance. How's my content doing? What's my best performing content? So you can do that. And here, this is just some charts showing how you can actually analyze this. And in my next slide, we're going to be talking about how you can actually analyze your data. So you can see here page fan by city. You can see page fan country, showing you your fans, their country, where they're from. And here you can see the age distribution and the gender. And here you can see fan by language. So these are things that you can actually get. So if you're, let's say I'm targeting people who are like 60 plus, and then after analyzing my data from my social media, I'm getting this, it means that my content is not actually going to the actual audience that I need to get to, right? So it means that I need to do some work to ensure that this 65 plus get to increase. But if my target audience is people who are 16, 18, 34, and the rest, it means that I am actually doing well and I should keep on doing what I am doing, right? So you can see data analytics can really help us to carry out informed decision, and we need to key into that, right? Okay. So go to the next slide. So what we'll be talking about next is what is business intelligence, right? So there are several tools that we can actually use to analyze data, but then we have business intelligence. When we talk about business intelligence, it refers to technologies, applications, and practices for collecting, interpreting, analyzing, and presenting business information. Now, when we talk about business intelligence, what are we talking about? What are the technologies? What are the applications? What are those practices that I can use to actually do all this analysis that I've been pointing out? We have business intelligence through like Power BI, like Tableau. And guess what? Most of all the social media platform also have their tools, right, that you can use. So for instance, LinkedIn has a LinkedIn analytics, Facebook has Facebook analytics, Instagram has Instagram analytics. So if you don't want to, let's say, get your data and go to Power BI and go to Tableau to actually work on it, you can actually use these tools that has been embedded into your social media to actually check what your data performance, or what's your post performance rather, it's like. So it's so beautiful and easy. Okay, so the next is how businesses leverage this social media insight. How do businesses leverage this social media data insights? Now, number one is optimizing marketing strategy. We have overemphasized this since the beginning of our session, right? It helps your marketing strategy to be top-notch. Imagine the video we just watched. The guy did not optimize his marketing strategy by checking into data. So if you don't do that, what happens? You keep wasting money. You keep pumping money into ads. You keep pumping money into maybe designing flyers and trying to get to a particular audience, but you notice that you're not getting that. So if you're a business owner here and you're having such issues, you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to go back to data. You can also, apart from social media, you can also do a survey. For instance, you have a product, people are not buying. Why are they not buying? Have a survey, share to your clients, your customers, let them give you their opinion, and then you tend to analyze it and you'll be able to know, oh, this is how I'm supposed to do better. This is the kind of content for social media. This is the kind of content that my audience wants. It's possibly that your audience are like Gen Z audience and they like videos and all this TikTok kind of things and jumping on trends, but then you're busy writing articles, and a typical Gen Z would not sit and read articles. So if you don't opt your data-driven decisions to actually get what they want, you might just keep making mistakes, and guess what? Your marketing strategy will not be optimized. So you need to do that. Also, it helps you to enhance customer experience. Very important. You want your customers to experience the best. Now, when we're talking about customers, it's possible you don't have a business, like I said. I'll use myself as an example. I'm building a brand for myself on LinkedIn, right? And then, so every followers I have on LinkedIn, they're actually my customers, and I want them to have a good experience. So what do? I write content that tailored to making them have that experience. So I need to understand my customers' needs and then learn how to improve engagement, and also learn how to improve engagement with them. Also, the next is competitive analysis. Competitive analysis. When we talk about competitive analysis, what are we talking about? Now, for every business, there is a competitor. Someone has done what you're trying to do, or someone is doing what you're doing, right? So you need to be able to analyze your competitors. You need to analyze, what are they doing? How are they doing it? How are they performing? This will now help you to perform just the way that they are, or even perform better. Very important. So let's say I sell, for instance, okay, let me use a product that is very common, like let's say Google, for instance. We have Google, we have Microsoft. These are two competitors, right? Now, competitive analysis is trying to find out, what is Google doing? Google has just released a product. And then Microsoft is like, okay, what is the product about? What are people saying about the product? Can we do our own that's also solving that same problem? Let's say we have, for instance, your Google slide. There's Google Slide, there's Microsoft PowerPoint. Both are solving similar problems, but they have different use, and right. So with competitive analysis, you can now add something extra. Let's say, oh, Google Slide, let's say Microsoft PowerPoint. You can't easily work on it online, except maybe you have like a Microsoft subscription and the rest. But then Google came up with theirs, right? Still the same kind of slide presentation, but then you can work on it on the go online, right? So this is an addition, and all this are made possible with what we call competitive analysis. So you continue to compete, continue to check, what are my competitors doing? How can I continue to stay in the game? Because if you don't do that, you might just be removed from the game, because clients or customers rather would not be patronizing you, because you're not in vogue. Let's use that word. You're not doing what others are doing. Let's say everyone is going online now, and you're still deciding that no, I must be analog. I only sell typewriter. I cannot sell computer in my shop. What happens to you? Right now, do anybody use typewriter that much? Can I see in the chat box? Not at all, right? So beautiful. So you would not be getting clients, you will not be getting people. So you need to be in the game. And also, that's the same thing you use for your social media. What are people talking about? Right? Especially if you go on like Twitter, you notice that people jump on trend. Oh, this Natasha issue that is happening right now, everyone is talking about it. Or is it this Fubara issue in Bayelsa State? Everyone is talking about it. So if you're a business or you're a person and you want people to actually follow you on Twitter, Right now, what are you supposed to be talking about in Nigeria? You're supposed to be talking about all these issues. And then before you know, they want to read about what is happening in Bayelsa State. And then they're following you and like, oh, yes. But guess what? If you start talking about, maybe you start talking about something that is not happening, maybe talking about 2020, maybe 2021 election, 20 something election. I can't remember the year now that they did the last election. Now you start talking about that. Maybe that's nothing is happening. Nobody is preparing for election. Your traction might be so limited, right? So you need to actually do competitive analysis. It's really, really important. Now, crisis management is very important also. When we talk about crisis management, you're determining or detecting negative sentiment early and responding proactively. This is also very important. Some people, they open social media and just leave it like that, right? Or you have a business and you have social media accounts. You don't check what people are saying. It's possible that somebody has gone to your page and say, Amaka stole my money and ran away. And then because you're not determining all those things and you leave it a year, 2 years, everybody is going to your social media page and seeing that Amaka is a thief and Amaka is not responding, which is bad. So, and that's why you need to, in this digital age, be active, right? You need to be very active online because it's possible someone might have a sentiment that is not true about your business. I might go online and post that, oh, I bought Google, I bought a product from Google and they deducted my money. And I write it on their platform and say, I feel like Google is a scam. Now, if Google is not proactive to actually check that and respond to me, people will start viewing it. And when they view it, they'll be like, bad experience. Google is bad. Let me go to Microsoft. But if Google is proactive, they would answer, oh, can you provide your details? And after rectifying whatever is bad, they would also tell me that please go online and share. So you see, I can now go back and say, oh, thank you, Google. It was just this and it has been resolved. This is how you also do to your business. You need to be proactive. This is also how you treat your own personal social media page. You need to be very proactive. You need to be very proactive, very important to manage crisis. Okay, so now it's not just be me talking. I love to have an interactive section, right? So we've been talking. I would want us to discuss now as a team. What do we think are the importance of business intelligence in social media? So in quotes, what do you think is the importance of data in social media? So yes, I'd like to have at least 4 persons share their view, right? So our host, I don't know if you would have people give them mic to like just talk. I want to hear their view, the importance. You can also personalize it. Let's say you've used social media and then you've used data decision. What do you think? Why do you think it's important? So yes, thank you so much. Can you help with that?
Yes, I've given everybody access to the mic. So if you have an answer, just raise up your hand and you will be called. Ebenezer, you can go.
Okay. So to my own, can you hear me? Can you guys
Yes, we
hear
can
me?
hear you. We can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay. So to my understanding, when it comes to the importance of business intelligence, that is taking data-driven decision in social media, I think it speaks to understanding, just like you said, understanding the behavior of our audience. Because probably if you are doing social media marketing or ads, or you are just growing your brand, so your followers, your target audience, so you need to understand their behavior. So, and this will help you to take data-driven decision. So it's also help in measuring performance. So if you want to, probably you push out an ad there, or you push out probably a post, you want to see the performance, or you are working on a model, or probably you are posting 3 times a day, the model you are presently working on, you want to see the performance of that model, what you are doing. So it helps in measuring performance. So I think it's also helping competitor analysis. Yeah, let me put it that way. So because you also have to gather data on your competitors, people that are doing the same thing with you, and see how they behave, what they do, what they are doing right, what they are doing wrong. And it also helps in the customer service and support. So it's also helping in understanding the problem of your customer, your audience. Like you said, if somebody posts something that is not good about Microsoft, and Microsoft are not proactive to engage that person to point that out. So it might actually create a bad trend. I might go to Microsoft page probably to look at a review, and I will see that here, and that will create something in my mind about Microsoft. That's my contribution.
Well, thank you so much for that. You covered a lot. You talked about understanding your audience, performance, competitive analysis, customer service, and support. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Do we have another person that would like to throw more light? Maybe something else that not been mentioned? Let's have you.
For me,
Yes,
the
we
most
have.
important one is for revenue growth, money, more money. Because when you are able to meet when you are able to use business intelligence to meet the right target for your business, that's for those who are into business, to meet the right target for your business, that means more customers for you, that means more money. So yeah, the revenue growth is one of the importance or the major importance for me.
Beautiful, more money. I love that because that's why we are in business. Like we need more money. Okay.
Exactly.
Nice, very nice.
We have
Beautiful.
Mr. Umar.
Okay, please go on because I
You
really
can
want the
go,
session
Mr.
to be
Umar.
interactive.
Mr. Umar, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, can you hear me all?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Hello?
We can hear
Okay.
you.
My contribution would be the importance of the importance of business intelligence in social media. My own contribution would be faster in decision making, because when you have all the right data to check on your social media platform, it will make you to quick have access to what are you going to do. So one of the important of data analysis is for you to have a good solution and a driving choice for anything you are doing. Because for example, when I start data analysis and ideas, I'm a student there. So I literally go and check my phone. You know, if you have a smartphone, there is a data analytics that it to show you the app that you literally engage into mostly. So when I discover I mostly spend my time on WhatsApp, Facebook, and other stuff that are not important, it makes me to have a choice and decision making of what I'm going to do anytime I'm in my social media. So in your social media platform, it makes you have an insight or right thing to do anytime you are posting, or what are your customers saying. It just change your mindset. I think that is my contribution. Hello?
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, I got your contribution. It makes you make
Hello?
decision faster and better. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Yes, so it
We can
helps
hear
you
you.
to make decision faster and better. Very good. And it makes you to make correct decision, or at least predict to a level of accuracy, right? So it's very important. Okay, yes, I can see Nsika. Please go on. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Also, my own point would be that part you mentioned, improve engagement with your customers. I think that's the key to every businesses. When you interact with your customers, you get to know where to improve. I mean, you get to know what they want and what they don't want, and that goes a long way to increase your sales. And then you also get to know where you make more sales, the things, the dimensions of things you need to do to improve your quality. Engagement with customers, with your clients, is very, very paramount and very, very key, to every business owners. Yeah.
That is very correct. Engagement with your customers is very key, because if there are no customers, there will be no business. So if you like, be doing very good content and saying that, oh, if your customers, your clients do not like your content, you will soon go out of business. So it is very key for us to have that. Very key for us to have that. Thank you so much. You guys have been an amazing audience. I really enjoyed myself. So let's continue our slide. I'll take more questions as we proceed. Now, like you mentioned, it's like you guys have seen my slide already. Somebody talked about data-driven decision making, very important. So this is one of the importance of what business intelligence in social media. You have data-driven decision making. The next is predictive analytics. You'll be able to predict based on what you've been seeing, what the future will look like, right? So you can do predictive analysis to know, oh, okay, so every Friday, if I make post on Friday, it's like I used to have more likes on my post. So it means that every Friday I must make a post. Oh, every Monday is like my customers, they like me talking about motivating them for the week. So it means that every Monday I should be motivating them, because this is something that every time I do, they get to like that post. So you continue to what? Predict and continue to use that. The next is personalization. It helps you to actually own your own social media, right? Because what works for me might not work for you. What is working for Google might not work for Microsoft. So, but with data, you'll be able to actually get what is working for you per time. So it's more like diagnostics, just like what the doctors do. I might have malaria and someone else have malaria, and then we go to the hospital. But the same medication might not work for both of us. And that's why they have to diagnose, no, okay, oh, this is the drug that works for you. It's like you have to go on injection. Oh, I think you don't have malaria, you have to rest, right? So there's this personalization when you use data. Improve return on investment, very important, money, right? So as you're giving out, you're getting times 2, times 3, even 10%, even 100% of your investment, which is key because we want to make more money. Now, let's talk about the tools and technologies for social media BI, right? So these are like tools that you can use. Like I mentioned before, we have Facebook Insights, we have Twitter Analytics, there's Instagram Analytics, LinkedIn also have analytics. You can use Hootsuite, you can use Google Analytics. There's even Brand 24. I think maybe at the end, I will just show you around Brand 24, right? There's also Brand 24 that you can use on LinkedIn. Okay, let me quickly show you on LinkedIn where you can find the analytics. So you go on your LinkedIn here. And then, so this is already, you can see here, you can see profile view. So you can see, this is analytics. So this is showing, oh, can you see my profile view dropped? Last week I had more profile view. Now it has dropped by what, 21%. So you can see, I can see the dates that I had more views. Okay, on these dates, December 29, I had 199 view, which reduced to what, 102, 101 on January. And then there was a spike in February, right? February 23rd. So if I want to dig deep, I will now go on my LinkedIn and check, what did I post December 29? What did I post February 23rd rather? Now, I should be posting this kind of content because it's like, that is what my audience love a lot. So you can see here with a post, I had like 87% increase from the previous week. So this is how you note those things. You can also check your interesting viewers that work for company or that can help you get a job. Let's say I'm trying to get a job. Who are those interesting viewers? You bring them out. So I'm seeing, oh, on this day, an interesting viewer viewed my post. I want to see more analytics on that person. Look at, it's showing me that, it's showing me the names, right? So so do you get? So with this is something that you can use to make informed decision. And one beautiful thing on LinkedIn is you can also do competitive analysis on LinkedIn if you have a page. So if you have a page, if I had a page right now, I'll show you, you would actually see where to add. They'll ask you, who are your competitors? Right? So if for those of you that have a page, please go and try it out. It will ask you, who are your competitors? And then you can add your competitors. And just the way on my personal page that is showing yours, it will also have another line, maybe a red line showing your competitors alongside. So you can actually now say, oh, okay, so here I was this, and my competitor was higher. What did my competitor post? You go back, look at your competitor's post, and then get an insight on what they are doing that you are not doing. Right? So I want you to use your favorite emoji and do thumbs up if you're following. Just do that so that I'll know that you guys are still with me. Use your favorite emoji. Just give me some thumbs up. Yeah, I want to see them. Okay, thank you so much. Right, so yeah, this is also like a screenshot of what analytics look like, right? So you can see here total page likes, paid, new paid, new unpaid. So it's showing everything that you need to know. Here it's showing the country, the demography. We have US, we have Denmark, like that. And then you're seeing, okay, look at the country range that looking at your post. Here you're seeing organic, the one that's paid. Here they did not pay for ad. All this reach was organic. The one that went viral, number of women that looked at the post, you can see men. And so data is the new gold and you need to tap into it. Okay, now these are BI tools that you can use. We have the Google Data Studio, we have the Microsoft BI, we have the Tableau. So you can actually connect or get your data and go into these tools, and then you analyze, like do a dashboard. So you can do that. So it's two options. So you either use the one already provided by this social media platform, or you can connect your BI tools to your social media platform to actually get this, or you can export your data and take them into your, so whichever way it works. So here you can see the followers, the impression, the reach, the likes, and all of that. Okay, now let's talk about the challenges and solutions in social media data analytics. As much as it has its good, there are also challenges, and then we have things that we need to do, right? So what are the challenges? Number one, overload. Too much data can be overwhelming. I would mention that again. Too much data can be overwhelming. And that's why in data analytics, I tell people, and it's often said that less is more, right? You don't need to show everything. Just focus on your focus. Okay, for instance, let's say you're trying to get, we talked about engagement. You're trying to know the engagement metrics. Focus on engagement. Don't, if what you're looking for is not sentimental analysis, don't start gathering data for sentimental analysis. You gather for content performance, you gather for audience. You just want to show everything. Your dashboard is like 20 charts. It can be overwhelming. At the end, you don't even know what you're looking for. So you can see less is more. This is just a four chart dashboard, and it's looking so beautiful. So focus on the focus. What you're trying to do, if you're trying to improve likes, focus on how do I improve, like not like you're doing likes, you're doing this, you're doing that. At the end, you're just overwhelmed. You don't even know what you're doing. And then you can automate dashboard. Thank God for LinkedIn analytics, Facebook analytics, and the rest. You can automate the dashboard and just click and drop and like that. Also, there is what we call privacy concern, right? You need to ensure that you keep your customers' privacy concern. According to GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, and data protection regulation, you must ensure compliance. So if you're someone who is into data analytics, this is something you need to look into. What is the data protection regulation talking about? For instance, you're not supposed to, let's say, do a visualization and have people's name on the dashboard, or have people's phone number or something. So these are like data protection laws that you need to follow part time, right? Now, interpreting data correctly. It is important to interpret your data correctly. It's not enough for you to gather data and do visualization and interpret. If you still interpret wrongly, you will still spend money wrongly. So let's imagine the man that used 250K to actually run ads. Yeah, if he had run that ad and he had maybe used data, and the data was wrong, or the interpretation was wrong, he will still waste money, right? And so that is how it is. So you should ensure that you don't misinterpret data, because it can also lead to what? bad decision. Train teams on data literacy. I think someone mentioned that earlier, that it's important you train the team. So if the person does not know how to use data, train them. And if they know and they're not using it, that's where there's a problem. You have to call them to action, or you have to let them go and get someone who would be able to use data to actually carry out decisions. Very important. Okay. Now, what are the best practices for leveraging data for social media? You need to define clear goals and objectives. I had already mentioned that. What is your goal? What are you trying to find out? Are you doing sentimental analysis? State it clear. Ensure that as you're collecting data, as you're analyzing data, it is that goal that you're trying to get. Don't deviate from your goal. Use AI and automation. Thank God for AI and automation, making things easy for us. So there are several AI. I use ChatGPT a lot. I use Max AI. I use Perplexity AI. And there's so many AIs that you can use, right? So leverage this for efficiency. So you can leverage data AI for efficiency. So you can go on your AI and give it a prompt, right? Let's say you want to have a business with an objective and you want to write a post. Go to ChatGPT, give it that prompt. So right now, I think I want someone to give us a business that you do and then one objective that you want to achieve. Let's use one AI to actually generate a post content for you. Since we're talking about social media, let's get our hands dirty with practice. So do we have someone who is doing a business and wants to tell us one objective? And yes, let's use AI to write something. Yes, anyone? We don't have business owners here. Okay, so if we don't have business owners, if you have your own personal social media and you want,
Okay,
you have an
I'm
objective.
presently working on the. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I don't know why Mr. Ebenezer went off. Okay, I have a business. I do event decoration. That's one of my businesses.
Okay, event decoration. So what's your objective? What do you want on your page? You want to have more likes, more follows?
Yes. More follows, more likes,
Okay.
and more customers.
Okay. Right. The objective is to get more likes and follows. And then look at what they said. They said monitor trends. So we want it to follow trend. Follow the trend and the industry with relevant hashtags. Okay, so let's see what it gives us. So let's go. Okay, so can you see? Though I didn't get the name of your event, but look at what he wrote. So looking for the perfect touch to make your event stand out, whether it's wedding, birthday, corporate event, or intimate gathering, we bring your vision to life with breathtaking decor that leave a lasting impression, from luxury floral arrangement to stunning balloon setup and elegant table setting. We create pictures, perfect moments just for you, right? So you can see this. Turn your dreams into reality. Tag a friend who needs events decor. So this, and then gave you relevant hashtags that are actually trending that people will be looking for. So for instance, most people who are looking for event decor would be Googling party planner, event styling, wedding decor, and the rest. So once they Google that, your post would actually pop up because you use the hashtag. And I just use ChatGPT. So if you've not started using ChatGPT, you can just Google chatgpt.com and then you sign up and voila, you're good to go. Our event decor sister, I hope this helps.
Yes, it does. It helps. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, so nice. So you can actually do that even for your personal page. Let's say you have a LinkedIn page, you want to get more followers. You can tell it, help me to write a post. I'm interested in STEM that would help me get more followers on LinkedIn, giving me relevant hashtag. And then it gives you and ensure that you add human touch to it though before posting online. Very important. Okay. Now we would move to the next. Okay. Future trends. We've already talked about this a lot. We talked about AI and we've already checked how it works, predicting analytics for better forecasting. You can use AI, you can use machine learning for personalization, for you to have your own personalized user experience. You can actually, these are future trends, and this is why we need to join the bandwagon, right? And also blockchain in data security, very important. Now everyone is talking about blockchain and how it can secure your data. And also as data analysts, it's important we start jumping on this trend, start learning, don't leave yourself, don't just stay behind and say, oh, I'm a data analyst, I can use Power BI and that is it. No, you need to keep upskilling, learning how to make better decisions, faster decisions, and you become or you still remain more relevant in your industry. So before I go to my concluding slide, I talked about competitive analysis. There are a lot of tools you can use. There is this one I enjoy using called Brand 24. So apart from using your LinkedIn and Facebook analytics, like I showed you on LinkedIn, you can also use Brand 24, especially as a business, to actually analyze your brand. Though they have the free version, they also have paid. So we just try to see if we can use the free version as a test run. Okay. Wants me to create another. Let's see. I think. Okay. Oh, I have to. Okay, I'm coming. I think I have to stop sharing at the moment so I can insert my password and all. Okay, so why I do that, I think let me conclude so that I will just show that at the end. So just for anyone here who has a business, it's a very good tool for social listening. So I'll show you that at the end. When I'm stop sharing, I will just insert my password and then get to show you. So yeah, in conclusion, right? Data insight and business intelligence are essential for optimizing social media strategies. They help businesses personalize content, improve customer engagement, and drive revenue growth. Now, ethical consideration must be addressed to ensure responsible data usage. I encourage business owners and social media owners to leverage data-driven strategies. So not just business owners, social media owners. So don't say, oh, I don't have a business, it's not for me. As a social media owner, you need to leverage data usage, right? Stay updated on emerging technology to maintain a competitive edge and engage with an analytical tool to redefine and improve your social media presence. Very important. So this is my LinkedIn URL here. You can scan this to connect with me on LinkedIn. And thank you for your attention. You can also send me an email if you're looking for someone to let's say have a strategy session or do like a LinkedIn optimization session. I am always open to hear from you. So you can send me an email or send me a message directly on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Thank you very much, This was a power-packed presentation. At least I know for those of us who have businesses and have been struggling to improve our audience and our social media presence, this has really been insightful for people like that. So once again, thank you. We're going to throw the room open for questions. So if you have a question, just like we did before, indicate with a raise of hand, and then we will call on you to ask your question. Ebenezer, you can go ahead with your question.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thanks so much, Blessing, for this session. Personally, I've gained a lot, and even before you share the barcode to probably connect with your LinkedIn, I already did. 30 minutes to your presentation, I already did because I think I have a lot to learn from you. Someone that is also trying to build his brand. So the question I want to ask is a little bit personal. Um because I've been trying a little bit since last year, since I got to this space of data analytics to build my brand, my social media presence and everything. But I struggle with should I call it procrastination? Sometimes I made some plan. I have my motivation, right? I have what is motivating me because I know what I'm targeting. So sometimes at the beginning of the week like this, doing over the weekend, I make plans. Oh, this is what I want to do on my LinkedIn page, on my Twitter page this week. I highlight everything out. But I noticed that during the week I usually derail. So I don't know. What strategy do you use to keep up? Most of the time I do set reminders, online assistant and everything, but I still derail. Sometimes Tuesday, Wednesday, I've already forgotten about it till weekend again. So what is your motivation that keep you up to date in probably engaging your audience online, posting as I well do and everything?
Mute. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Okay, I am trying to unmute my mic. I didn't know I was. Yes. Okay, so beautiful. Um, that question is really important. I get to hear it a lot. The first thing I would say is you're not alone. We all have that demotivation that comes once in a while, right? But the first thing you need to know your why. Why do you want to build a brand? So if you have the why, for me, I want to build a brand because I feel like social media is a place that plays a leveling ground, right? There are people I would want to meet that I can't really meet them in person based on my location. For instance, I'm in Nigeria, and I'll tell you for free that with social media, I have earned in dollars, I have earned in pounds, I have had audience who are not in even Africa, right, as a geographical location. So that's my why. I want a global audience. And that's what has been. So when I remember that's why, it gives me, oh, blessing, you can't sleep on your why, you need to make it happen. So that's one. That's like an intrinsic motivation. Now, for the intrinsic part of motivation, you have to have a community. When I mean community, it's not like you're having like so many persons. You have to have like friends, accountability partner. So I have friends who have same or similar vision. So it's like iron sharpens iron, right? So when the motivation is I am being demotivated, I see someone in my corner saying, oh, I just did this, I just did that. And I'm like, blessing, you can't sleep. Look at your circle, they are winning. You can't say you don't want to win. And right. So I keep pushing. And because of that kind of circle, it helps me. So you need to also change your circle. So if you're with circles who are not motivated, you have to look for a circle who would motivate you to be better. There's a book I read and they said if you have 5 friends and out of the 5 friends you're like always the person who is the best, then you're not in the right circle. You need to look for circles who are doing way better than you, and then it gets to motivate you. Then for social media also, the problem could also be time, right? You could have the circle, you could have the interesting motivation, but then the time to actually do this might be a problem. And that's where planning comes into play. On most of the social media platforms, they have scheduling tools, right? So you can actually schedule your post. And that's something I do a lot. If you go to my social media, you will notice that today at 8 o'clock in the morning, I had a post. That post was written like about 3 days ago. I was free and I wrote the post and I scheduled it for Saturday by 8. 8 o'clock today, sorry to say, I think I was still on my bed because I slept around 3. I had an event that I was planning for and all that. So I slept around 3 thereabouts. I slept very late. At 8, I was still on my bed. I woke up around like 9 to start getting set and the rest. And I was already getting beeps on my phone when I turned online. Why? Because my post was already up and people were already interacting with it. Right. So these are tools that you can actually do. And there are so many. There's even an AI tool now that can even help you respond to comments. So that's why I said you need to jump on the trend, know what is trending, and then jump on it. And technology is here to make your life easy. I hope I've been able to answer your questions.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do we have
Any
more
other
questions?
For now, I don't see any other hands up. So we don't have any question.
Please, let me ask one more question since there is I have the time to ask because I actually didn't want to ask the two at the same time because I want to give room for others. So when it comes to using AI to generate content and everything, probably to assist you. So I know the issue of ethical concern come into place because I was engaging someone I think December last year, and he actually worked on something that he seek help. I don't know if it's Meta AI or ChatGPT, and he put it out there. And I think there is issue of plagiarism that come into play. So how do we prompt this AI to give us unique content that will have this issue of oh, you are copying somebody works and everything?
Thank you so much for that question. I was just listening to it and then I was smiling because yes, ChatGPT, it would give you, it's a computer, so it's like garbage in, garbage out. So one thing you should do is you need to ensure you prompt it properly, like the prompt you give to it. What do you prompt it to? For instance, the lady that told me about her event center, I just wrote event center or event decoration rather. It was just generic, right? If I know the name of her decoration event planning company, and then maybe I even know the location, I like add more details, it gets to make it more personalized. But then apart from that, there is need for human touch, right? So AI is not coming to replace human. So you don't just give it all the prompts and then just carry it and just, most times it can even give you fake information. Like there's a part where it says you shouldn't trust one thing. If you read your ChatGPT, I think towards the end it states that, right? Because it can make mistakes. So you need to verify. If it gives you data, verify the fact. If it's telling you UNICEF said this in 1990, go and Google, go and check other sources and confirm, right? If it gives you a write-up, try to personalize it, read it, add your own human touch so that it would be your element. I think there's so many debates about that, right? That should people be acknowledging AI maybe on their research work and the rest. But I feel like it is still important. Don't allow AI to replace you by just generally copying and pasting. Once AI has generated something for you, read through and add that thing that will make it blessings work. Add that thing that will make it blessing Iyare copy, not just AI generated. Thank you.
Thank
All
you
right,
very much for that. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
okay.
No,
Are you
I just
done,
want
Mr.
to, I just
Ebenezer?
want to, no, I just want to thank her for, like she answered perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All right, that's fine. I think before Mr. Blake comes up, I just want to also add, what you said just now about making it personal makes so much sense, because sometimes what I also do if I want to make posts or adverts, I can have something already written down. Like I have an idea of what I want, so I can type something and then I put it on ChatGPT and say, okay, edit this for me, make it more fun or more catchy or something like that. So I think doing that also personalizes whatever ChatGPT presents back to you, because you have put in your own idea. You didn't just leave it for ChatGPT to do for you, or whatever AI tool you are using. So I think that's another idea for you, Mr. Ebenezer. Mr. Abdullah, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. I have heard you. Again, I just want to add a little regarding this ethical consideration. When it comes to data analytics, actually the best thing to do, I want to add that the best thing to do is for you as a data analyst not to fit such AI with the real data. You can decide to give ChatGPT or whatever AI you are using the characteristic of the data, not the real data. So that is one aspect of the ethical consideration where it comes to using AI to analyze data. Don't feed this AI with the real data. You can decide to narrate the characteristic of the data, and you begin to prompt the AI for the right navigation of whatever you want to analyze. I think that is the right that is the best approach when it comes to using AI to analyze data. Thank you very much. Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we heard you. We heard you. Okay, Loretta.
Okay, so once again, thank you to everyone. You have been so patient. And thank you for our presenters. Thank you to everyone who present. Mr. Babayo, do you have a question? Do we have room for one more question? Okay, let's take your question quickly, Mr. Babayo. Unmute yourself, please.
Mine is word of appreciation to both presenters. Thank you for their earnest effort. Also want
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. So, Mr. Ekanem, you can go ahead and give the vote of thanks.
Yes. All right, it's not in Canon and Sikan actually. I'm Sikan. Okay.
Sorry
Wow.
about that.
No,
Sorry, before the vote of thanks, I
all
wanted to
right.
show. Hello,
Huh?
can you hear me? I said before
Yes,
the
I
vote
can.
of thanks, I wanted to show business owners brand 24. So I'll just quickly show my screen.
All right, you can go ahead.
So this is what. Okay, so this is what brand 24 looks like. So you can explore it. You can just Google brand24.com and then you get to sign up. So you can see I added a project. When you're signing up, it will ask you to add your keyword and the project you're trying to work on. So I added Microsoft and Google, right? So you can see what people are saying. So this is like a social listening. Look at the hashtag saying that's trending. Look at what Excel. I can create edit documents with Microsoft. So these are things people are talking about them on Reddit, on TikTok. So it gives you, and then when you connect, I haven't connected my Facebook to it yet. So if I connect my Facebook, connect my Instagram and Twitter to it, it gives me whatever people are saying on Facebook about Microsoft. So if you have a business, you can write, instead of using Microsoft, you can use your own name. It gives you what people are saying about your business. It gives you what people are saying on your Instagram, and then you can now make better decisions. You can also do competitive analysis here. You can see here, they say comparison. So when you click there, you can add other businesses that you want to compare with yours, and you are doing a great job. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Miss Blessing. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for your time. Thank you. We are grateful to have you. And Mr. Nee. Be rest assured that in the future, when we have need of you again, we'll call you again because of your insight analysis. We are grateful. You talked about data being the new gold. So that's, I just heard that. The one I heard of late is data is the new oil, and then you've added your own is the new gold. Yes, that for people to cash in and move on. You talked about interpreting data correctly so that people don't waste money to make a bad decision. You talk about prompting properly, when using AI, prompting properly to personalize it, and then more so to have a human touch. Need to have human touch so that to avoid being penalized for plagiarism and the likes. You talked about so many things. You talked about when you started, you talked about crisis management, people that are engaging in social media, to be able to optimize their marketing strategies, to engage customer, a whole lot that you actually unpacked. We are so grateful, grateful, grateful. Thank you, thank you. This was a well presented session. We are grateful. Thank you for having you. Then I would like to say, you are a data analyst already, so we are extending hand of fellowship to our family. You're part of the family, joining the association. Of course, I've mentioned it to you before. Nsdabie is first of its kind National Society, Nigeria Society of Data Analysts and Business Intelligence Experts. Is the first of its kind in Nigeria. It's an umbrella whereby a safe haven to have all data professionals, business intelligence experts to come under, just like we have the likes of ICANN, CIPM. We have come, to stay. And our vision, we are here, as we are a professional body, professional association dedicated to empowering, data professionals. And our vision is to be a leading professional association in Nigeria, with impactful insights to champion best practices and to contribute to the nation's socio-economic growth. So we are extending our hands of fellowship to you, as at your time, okay, to join the association. I know you do that. A lot of people are actually queuing already, people in the diaspora, directors from information reaching us. A lot of people are actually queuing to be part of the family. So we're looking forward to having you very soon to join us. And of course, Mr. Nee, our first speaker. So at this juncture, we are bringing the meeting to a close. So we'll want to thank everyone once again. Thank you for the Board of Trustees members, Dr. Noah, that provided us the platform. Thank you for my co-host. You did a great job, Mrs. Loretta. Thank you, random guy, Emmanuel. Thank you for every other people, that came on board. Thank you for your patience and thank you for what we've learned. Now, you can always, of course, you guys know our social media, the website, www.nsdabie.com.ng. From there, you see many other social media. We are on X, we are on Facebook as well, so you'll be able to reach us there. So look out for this page, A lot we've started, and a lot will be ongoing. In a month's time, we can see a surprise guest. In 2 months' time, in 3 months' time. So a lot will be happening, all in the bit of shaping the economy, shaping the country. A lot of ruts, a lot of corruption that has been ongoing, but with data coming to stay in all sectors of the economy, all those will be corrected as time goes on eventually. Thank you. And we'll close by reciting the national anthem again. So after the count of 2, we can just read through. 1, 2, go. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all and proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Verse 2, our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign, in peace and battle honored, and this we count as gain, to hand on to our children a banner without stain. That's the last verse. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Thank you all. So see you next time. Till then, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Where is your hand?
Yeah,
If you're raising their hands, do you have questions?
we're waving you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye. See.
Bye-bye.
You rest now, ba. Sika.
No, you don't go rest.
I feel rest now, ba.
No, until you go to Canada or US, you don't go rest. Calm down. After. Make I leave myself.
Rest.